Welcome back. I'm here with ScottChasen, who is a KU journalism senior who will graduate in a few weeks. So 4 years has gone by pretty fast. I guess as you reflect on your time here, what have been some of your favorite memories?
Well, you're absolutely right. It's gone by pretty incredibly fast. You think about, you get to your first couple years and you're just trying to get through every week and get to summer, and by the time you're an upperclassman,
Yeah.
it seems like you blink and 5 weeks have gone by and now the end of the year is approaching. So favorite memories, I had a lot of memories at the University of Delhi, Kansan. That's really where I started,
Yeah.
and doing things like special sections and staying late for production until midnight and sometimes 1. There's a fun story. When the Royals won the World Series, we were, in production. It was a production night, so the students tore down the goalpost at Memorial Stadium. So we'd go out there to just take some pictures and, see who's there to talk to someone. And it was funny because the police officers see these students walking up, and they thought that we had torn the goalpost down. So I told this story before. I went up there, and he said, how do you know the goalpost had been torn down? And I showed him a tweet, and it was from a KU sports reporter, saying, quoting a student's tweet. And he said, oh, so this Jesse Newell guy, who's a reporter for the Kansas City Star, he said, so he tore down the goalpost. And I was like, no, not Jesse Newell. But no, there have been plenty of memories, and it's been a great 4 years.
So when you wrote for the Kansan, what did you cover?
I started covering women's basketball, covered men's basketball by the end of the first year, was editor all throughout the next year, and then have been doing men's basketball and football and some other sports like volleyball, women's basketball ever since for the Topeka Capital Journal.
Oh, awesome. Good for you. So what do you want to do after you graduate?
I know I want to be in sports. I've covered just about every different sport. I've written baseball for MLB.com. I've written, I mentioned all the other ones. So I just want to find a job in sports. I love storytelling, and I was kind of talking before this show with some people, but the more and more I cover sports, the part I like about it the most isn't the games. I grew up a fan of sports, so obviously I love that part of it. But I just love talking to the athletes, to the coaches, and getting a sense of what they're going through, what's in their head. Not only strategy about the games, but just the things they think about on a regular basis. Because there is something to be said that sports isn't the most important thing in the world. Obviously, it's not changing anyone's life that dramatically. But people do care about it, and they care about it for a reason. So it's always interesting to go inside those kind of stories.
Yeah. So we have a lot of underclassmen here, of course, and just in general at KU. Do you have any advice for them?
To steal some advice from Omar Sanchez, he's a writer at the University of Delhi, Kansan. He said that you live, I'm paraphrasing. I'm not going to say it as good as he did, but just that you should try and get the most out of every day, and that he always tries to think about if he spends a day and he can go out with friends, and it'll be great, and everyone should have days like that where they go out, they party, they have fun. It's college, you have to enjoy it. But you should live every day thinking, what did I do to make myself better that day?
Yeah.
And I know for me, some of the biggest frustration I had as a freshman was I'd go through a week and think, did I get better? Did I get closer to my goals? And the answer was no. And that was something that was incredibly frustrating for me. So by about the point, junior, senior year, especially working at the Capital Journal, I've just tried to approach every day like if I can get a little bit better at one thing or knock one thing off my to-do list or get one step closer, I think that would help me out.
Yeah, that's awesome advice. Wow. Thank you so much for joining us today. Do you have anything else that you'd like to add before we go?
No, just a shout out Cal Butcher behind the scenes. I've known Cal ever since I think high school, and he's smiling through the glass now. He is the best professor in the world, and everyone going to KU should take many classes with him because he's a wonderful human.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. Make sure you tune in next week for another edition of Good Evening KU.